While we often associate pets with being our cute furry friends to cuddle with on weekends, sometimes they can provide quite a lot more to life than we may take for granted. Dogs, cats, and even birds have proven to be key components to investigations where a crime scene involves the home in which they live. As we all know, the job of solving crimes is usually one best left to the police, but sometimes our furry friends can lend a paw. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at 10 animals who solve crimes. But before we get into it, thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for future uploads. Number 10. Tinker the Cat. In July 2012, the dismembered body of Hampshire resident David Guy was found on a South Sea beach, wrapped in bin liners and a curtain on which cat hairs were found. Police officers then sent the hairs to California for analysis of the mitochondrial DNA. The results came up with a match to David Hitler's cat, Tinker. The findings were then factored into the case against Hitler, a neighbor of Guy's who was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to life imprisonment. Tinker's hair weren't the only evidence in the case. The investigators also found traces of Guy's blood at Hilder's South Sea residence. Number 9. The unnamed grasshopper. While not quite a pet, one insect found itself dying for a noble cause. According to one of the forensic entomologists, a 1985 homicide in Texas resulted in precious little physical evidence, save for a grasshopper that had been found on the victim's clothing that was missing a limb. Further investigation of one suspect revealed that he happened to have a severed insect leg stuck in the cuff of his pants. When the entomologist assembled the bug, he found it to be a perfect match, and the suspect was then convicted. Number 8. HEERA the parrot. HEERA was the only witness to Neelam Sharma's murder in February 2014. The attacker had also dispatched the family dog, who had been barking during the struggle. The police had no leads to go by until Neelam's family started to notice HEERA becoming agitated whenever her nephew, Ashutosh Goswami, visited, or even when his name was mentioned in conversation. After the family notified the authorities of the parrot's reaction, an investigation ensued, during which the police discovered a dog bite mark on Goswami's hand. The nephew later admitted to the crime, including holding his aunt at knife point, stabbing her pet dog, and then subsequently killing his aunt to ensure her silence. Number 7. 2 cats. In 1989, 19-year-old pet shop worker Lori Alker left her Pennsylvania home for work but never arrived. Her car was then found the next day in the parking lot of Susquehanna Mall, where the pet place was located. 2.5 weeks after her disappearance, Lori's body was found near a dirt road with multiple stab wounds. Police focused on her estranged husband, Robert Alker, who had been following her in the weeks leading up to her death. Forensic workers found several cat hairs that later proved to be an identical match to the victim's 2 felines. Robert Alker was then convicted of murder in March 1992 and was given the death penalty. Number 6. Pickles the dog. Over 50 years ago, a dog named Pickles helped solve a high-profile crime after a pair of thieves stole the World Cup trophy, known as the Jules Rimet Trophy. Police immediately launched an investigation into the theft. 7 days after the trophy was stolen, a man named David Corbett was walking in South London with his black and white collie, Pickles, when the canine became very interested in an object wrapped in newspaper and string near a garden hedge. Corbett opened the package and discovered the World Cup trophy. He then received reward money and made Pickles an international star. Number 5. Snowball the cat. When mother of 5, Shirley Duguay, vanished without a trace from her Prince Edward Island home in October 1994, police suspected her common-law husband, Douglas Beamish, whom she had left 2 years prior. During a massive manhunt, investigators found a bag that contained jacket and shoes stained with Dugay's blood. Tests revealed Beamish had the same shoe size, but still nothing conclusive for the crime. While investigators found white cat hairs inside the jacket lining, one policeman noticed a white cat, Snowball, at Beamish's house during an interview. Geneticists in the U.S. confirmed that the hair was Snowball's. Beamish was then sentenced to 18 years to life in prison on July 19, 1996. Number 4. Van Damme's family dog. In February 2001, 7-year-old Danielle Nicole Van Damme vanished one night without a trace in San Diego. Her parents didn't know exactly when she disappeared, and police had very little to work on. Eventually, a neighbor by the name of David Westerfield started to catch some of the eyes of investigators. Because of his suspicious behavior, police obtained a search warrant for his house. During the search, investigators found dog hair similar to that of the Van Damme's family dog. According to prosecutors, the dog hair was attached to Danielle's pajamas and was left behind the suspect's home. It was enough evidence to charge and convict Westerfield of abduction and murder. He was then sentenced to death on August 21, 2002. Number 3. Bud the Parrot. Michigan police were called in to the home of Glenna and Martin Durham. Police arrived to find that Martin had been shot 5 times and killed. Although Glenna had been shot in the head twice, she was still alive and rushed to the hospital for treatment. Following the death of Martin, Bud, the African gray parrot, was sent to live with Martin's ex-wife, Christina Keller. Shortly after arriving, Bud began to reenact arguments using 2 distinct voices.
And it ends with these chilling words.
The pet was believed to have witnessed the final arguments between the couple. Eventually, the jury found Mrs. Durham guilty of first-degree murder after 8 hours of deliberation and given a life sentence. Number 2. Chief, the PITBULL-LAB mix. Couple Raquel Rivera and Jay Johnson, along with their dog Chief, were found slain in 1996. The apparent victims of a home invasion. While standing trial, suspects, Ken and George, were surprised to learn that prosecutors planned a landmark entry of evidence, which is Chief's DNA. Dog blood had been found on the defendant's clothing during the investigation, and forensic analysis was able to match it to Rivera and Johnson's pet. The jury then convicted the suspects with murder and animal cruelty with no chance of release. Number 1. Larry Bird, the Cockatoo. On Christmas Eve 2001 in Dallas, Texas, the owner of a pool company, Kevin Butler, was attacked in his home by 2 men looking to steal valuables. Like any protective pet, Butler's white-crested cockatoo, named Larry Bird, came to his defense, swooping in and pecking the attackers. Unfortunately, despite the bird's heroic efforts, Butler was stabbed to death, and one of the men also stabbed Larry with a fork. Following the attack, DNA was recovered from Larry's beak and claws that was matched to one of the killers, a man named Daniel Torres, who was a former employee of Butler. They were also able to track Torres' accomplice, Johnny Cerna. The suspects were eventually convicted of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment. And there you have it, the 10 animals who helped solve crimes. What do you think of these animals who became heroes in investigations? Sound off in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for future uploads. Until next time.